I'm Bob the Cigar Guy, and this is episode 35 of Camacho Presents. I've got the smokes. Let's ride. Podcast with me, BTCG. I guarantee you a couple things. I guarantee you that traffic could be trafficking. I guarantee you that I'm going to be here for an hour. I guarantee you that I'll be happy if you stay here for an hour, but if you don't, I understand. It's 5 o'clock. It's Friday. It is time for you to get home. That's right. Clock out, get in the car, get to the house, get out of the house or get out of the car, shut that door and start living with the people that love you and the people that you love. That's right. But in between leaving work and getting home, can I ride with you? I hope so. I'm Bob Cigar Guy, and I'm excited that you are here, and we are going to have a good time, I hope. Now, I'm going to have a good time by smoking this Camacho 2025 limited edition. Delicious, delightful, lovely right here. And I'm going to use this Firebird lighter. Some people cast shade on Firebird lighters because like it's not really a big name. It is. I guess it's like generic medicine, right? It is a big name, but it doesn't have the fancy name. But these lighters are budget friendly. They are solid, they are rugged, and they make a lot of sense. They're durable, they last a long time. But the ways they make sense is they don't have a lot of bells and whistles, but the things they have really help you with your everyday. Like this jet, it's a big triple jet. You can turn it down a lot, but it comes to a point at the end, right? And so that's a real easy way to light a bigger cigar or a smaller cigar. Even a Lancero, but I would choose a different lighter if I had a Lancero single jet. But it's got a big fuel window. It's all fuel window. So you know when you're running out of fuel. But one of my favorite things is this whole bottom right here is a dial to turn up and down your flame. That's it. It's got everything you need, not everything you want, but it gets the job done because let's face it, we're not lighter connoisseurs. We are cigar connoisseurs. We want to smoke that cigar. Lighting is just the thing that gets us in the door. But I got to tell you, speaking about getting in the door and smoking cigars and using lighters and stuff like that, I don't know how this segue is going to work through, but I will tell you that if you smoke cigars, do you smoke cigars? I hope so. Let a Camacho or a Davidoff or a Zeno or an Avo or an Avo Nicaragua, like the hat I have on, or a Baccarat, right? Get something great, get something fantastic, get something phenomenal. Leave me a comment, tell me what you smoke out of those lines. I would love to know. I would. Get rid of that. So hopefully I don't start this story too early because we have an hour. But I think I have time. I think it will all work out. This cigar is delicious. So Chief just went with Shanny Jade, his wife, back to their alma mater to do a welcome students back kind of thing, where they give the kids ramen noodles and stuff like that and all sorts of stuff. And they were hanging out. And Steven started thinking and talking about things when he went to college there. And one of the things that he started talking about was grilled cheese made with irons. Yes. Yes. And it's not just for college kids, because I will tell you a story about grilled cheese made with irons. And I will tell you that I have the best, bar none, recipe for grilled cheeses made with irons. I'm telling you, you're at the edge of your seat. I know it, but you ought to know this. How do I know how to make grilled cheese with irons? Because I've been broke a lot. Young, was it out of the Corps? Yep. It was out of the Corps. And had a roommate. We lived in a trailer, place called Mobile City. which you had to step up 2 levels to become a slum. That's how bad we were. Oh, it was awful. Single wide trailer with aluminum wires, no air conditioning, had gas stove, and I wouldn't pay the deposit to get the gas cut on. I was proud that my electric bill was about $15 a month, $20 a month. Maybe a little more, but I remember it as $20 a month. And so we would eat, me and my roommate, his name was Mickey. He worked at a restaurant. I worked at a restaurant. We both closed, and we would take home leftover food. And so we'd eat that from out of the fridge. We had a microwave. We also had, Mama gave me one of those electric woks that was real popular back in the 80s. You know, everybody had to have a wok. And then nobody had the wok. And so Mom said, you can have this. And it's basically like a hot pot, I guess. And so you throw your food in there, you heat it up, cook it up. I could make some of the most bangingest ramen noodles and hot dogs known to man in that wok. I can make a lot of them. You put 12 bricks of ramen noodles in that wok. But then, me being thrifty, some would call frugal, some would call cheap, went to a garage sale one time and found 2, not 1, but 2 old, heavy irons. I mean, the ones that weighed 5 pounds and they had a braided cord on them. You know what I'm talking about, right? Them irons were solid. And so what I did, I was more creative than I was, had money. So I figured it out. So I figured out how to bump up these irons upside down to where they were level. And so I put them level, and then I had the plugs, and I actually I stole from my mom's house, one of them breaker plug, whatever they're called, the power strip, which they weren't called power strips back then, but had an on-off switch. And so I plugged in both of the cords to that whenever I wanted to cook my grilled cheese. And so I would cut them on. I let them get hot. And they get real hot. And I would wipe them very quickly with a towel, a wet towel, just to get a little bit of moisture just for that second. And then I would throw on top of it 2 pieces of white sliced bread. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. When you put your bread on you know how an iron is shaped, right? I mean, think of a Monopoly piece. It's pointy at the top and it gets wide, and then it's just wide all the way down to the bottom, right? So the thing about that is the hole placement of the steam, which is critical, is up at the front and at the top and a little bit down the center, but less and less down by the bottom where it's wider. So you could have a better steamed grilled cheese sandwich, but the edges don't get grilled as much because they're hanging off the iron. Or you could slide it back down, and then you could just not get any of the steamy spots, which are nice. They are nice. They're so nice. Or, like I said, I've got the skills. You would take your bread, and for a short time, you'd have it sitting on one edge of the front where it's getting all the steam. You turn it 90 degrees after a very short period of time. And then you turn it 90 degrees until you've done that 4 times. And then you finish. Yeah, that's right. We are fancy. You finish the grilled cheese slid back to the back where it cooks evenly. So you've gotten that steamy goodness into your grilled cheese, those little hot spots of deliciousness. And so you'll sit that on, you'll sit your bread on there, right? And you're doing your little twisty, and you get a piece, actually get 2 pieces of American cheese, just regular old sliced cheese in the cellophane. You lay one piece on there on one bread, and on the other iron, you'll have your other bread doing, and you'll put your other piece of cheese on there. And then this is the trick. You got the steam covering on the bottom of your bread. It's looking good, and it's getting a little bit on the toasty side. You've now worked down to the bottom, the foot of the iron, and you can kind of smell a little bit. Well, if you didn't wear deodorant, you could smell a lot of it, but you could smell that grilled cheese just grilling. You could. And then you take and you watch your cheese, because the bottom gets cooked too fast, then the top doesn't get melty, and then that's no good. So to watch your cheese will bubble right near the middle. Once, bloop, then it'll stop, and it'll bubble again, bloop, and that little circle of that bubble will turn lighter yellow. It will turn lighter yellow, and that is a soft spot. And then you let that keep doing that, bloop, 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 until the edges of the cheese start to barely curl up just a little bit. There's a science to this, I'm telling you. There's a science to it. And when that happens, you have a very short period of time for that perfect grilled cheese sandwich from the iron. You'll grab both irons at the same time, upside down. You will fold them over, but not just fold them over, because if you just fold them over, they will fall down and it will be a big mess. So when you fold them over to mash into each other, you have to drop your hands at a rate of what the sandwich will be falling under natural gravity, so that you can catch it at the bottom. And if you do that just right, and both pieces of bread align perfectly, you hit that steam 3 times, not twice, not 4, but 3 times, psh, 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 and drop it off on your plate. Bubba, let me tell you what. You can't beat that grilled cheese sandwich. I don't care what restaurant you go to. I don't care what country you go to. I will put my grilled cheese off an iron sandwich up against anybody's. I have the best. I do. Hands down. I don't say that about many things. But this I will. No, I will. How do I have such a great grilled cheese sandwich? Well, because I said we were broke. And so I would take and have people over, guys, and I would make ramen noodles and hot dogs. And I would, because ramen noodles back then were like 6 cents, 7 cents a pack. Hot dogs were super cheap. The pink ones, you're not supposed to eat. It's got nothing but chicken lips and pig toes in it or whatever. But they eat. And I cut them on the bias so that they look like a big disc when they're really not. They're just a cockeyed disc. And I would make ramen noodles and hot dogs and grilled cheese sandwiches. And guys would come in, and I say, you know what? You bring a 2-liter soda and $5, you can get 2 grilled cheese sandwiches and all the ramen noodles you want. And so I was making money. I was paying rent. Rent back then was, I think, $165. But I was making rent. And then the next day, somebody came in and said, I didn't bring any soda. And I said, well, you thirsty? I'll sell you some soda. I would sell them back their soda, 50 cents a glass. Right. So I had to learn how to get people to want to give me money for food. So if the food doesn't taste good, then they ain't gonna buy it. Now, okay, if you buy the best cheese and the best bread and use the $20,000 grill and salamander and this and that, of course you can make a great grilled cheese. But do it on a broke budget. 2 slices of regular American cheese, 2 pieces of regular white bread, and 2 irons. Now that That takes skill. And skill I have. I bet I can still make the best grilled cheese sandwich in the world. I think so. And I can still make some slap your mama ramen noodles. Now, I'm going to tell you the tricks. I don't know why we're talking about food so much. I guess because I'm talking. I don't know why I blamed you for it. But I can make there's a way to make ramen noodles, microwaved ramen noodles, the bricks, right? The other one is really the one in the can in the cup. I mean, that's pretty much self-explanatory. Throw away the peas, throw away the corn, and let the rest of the little niblets hydrate, but throw that other garbage out and then eat it. Make sure you let it sit long enough for the starch makes your stomach hurt. But regular ramen noodles, you get 2 packs of ramen noodles. Okay. You're gonna fill a bowl up with water until both packs of ramen noodles float, not side by side, one on top of the other. Get that kind of bowl. Put it in microwave for 5 minutes, not 4 minutes and 57 seconds, not 5 minutes and 12 seconds, 5 minutes. Pay attention to me. You're going to put it in there for 5 minutes and you're going to start it. While that 5 minutes is going, and this is critical, this is where people mess up. You get out your protein, which is hot dogs, or you could have leftover steak, which I wouldn't do steak, but you could do chicken or stuff like that. But hot dogs, let's stick with hot dogs. You take your hot dogs, you lay it down, and not only do you cut it on the bias, but you cut it on the layback where it actually, instead of makes just long slivers, it lays back and it makes thick coins, but the edges are just cockeyed, right? And that's how you make them big pieces. You cut them up about the thickness of a nickel and a half, maybe 2 nickels, no more than 2 nickels. That's imperative. Got your 2 sauce or your two powder packets. And so you kept them to the side. Now, 5 minutes goes off. Beep, 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 beep. You're going to take and turn the ramen noodles upside down, right? You're going to take a fork, stick it in there, and they're still going to be kind of organized. You're going to flip them over to where the bottom's the top, the top's the bottom. And then you're going to take your hot dogs and you're going to throw them in that hot water. Now, why did I not do it in the beginning? Because they start to lose all their flavor and they start to get a little hard around the edges, the ones that are floating on top. See, that's a key. We want culinary artistry right here on a budget. So put it back in the microwave. Now your water has almost started boiling. You let it go for 5.5 minutes, it'd probably be boiling, right? So it's good and hot. You're going to flip it over and the water's going to be milky. No problem. Put it in with your hot dog, stir it around a little bit. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I don't need to tell you 257 or 314, right? You understand that I'm saying it is critical to be on time. 3 minutes. When you are done, now be careful. This is dangerous. Pull it out. That bowl's going to be hot. You're going to take all that water, all but like in that big old bowl, you'll leave the equivalent of a shot glass of water in it. And you're going to lay the ramen noodles up against the side of the sink, because who's going to mess up a strainer? Then you got to wash a strainer. And you're going to let all that water wash out except for about a shot glass. Then you're going to take one ramen noodle packet. You're going to sprinkle the ramen noodles, the powder all over it. You're going to take your fork. This is your first treat, by the way. You're going to take your fork and you're going to stir it around in that noodles with hardly any water. You're going to stir it around real good. And then, as it's sitting there, you're going to put the fork in your mouth because it tastes good. It's going to whet your appetite. It is your appetizer for tonight. And you are going to go to the refrigerator and you are going to get, now, if you have a refrigerator that puts out them little banana shaped out of the ice machine, man, you fancy. You're going to get 4 of those. But if you got old school ice cubes that you have to crack out of the right, the squares, you're going to get 3 of them. Hopefully they're not over full. You really want 2.5, but let's not get stupid here. So you throw those 3 or those 4, depending on what you use, into your noodles, and you're going to stir vigorously. And you're going to get that stirring and stirring and stirring, and you're going to start building up a broth, and it's going to be full of flavor. The starch is going to be gone, and it is going to be impeccably delicious. But now you don't stop there. Ha ha. You take one of the ice cubes, if you have 3, 2 of the ice cubes, if you have 4. They're going to be smaller. You're going to pitch them. Pitch the biggest one. You can leave the other 2 ice cubes in there. And then you're going to go sit down and eat it. Now, I know you're saying, Bob, that's silly. Why did you get ice cubes? It's going to make it cold. Ha ha ha. Ramen noodles are best eaten with a mouth full of noodles, not a little bite of noodles, a mouth full. You're watching TV, you're sitting down and just chilling, you're just recovering from the day with some comfort food that's not good for you. Now, we made it a little bit better because we got rid of one of the seasoning packets. It's all salt. There's so much salt in there. We get rid of that. You don't need it if you do it the way I tell you to do it. And so it cools it off enough where you can get you a mouthful. And what I like is them 2 little ice cubes. Eventually, you'll get that ice cube in your mouth and it'll be like, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I got me a little crunchy. And you're going to eat your hot dogs. Now, me personally, I'm a connoisseur of ramen noodles. I personally save my hot dogs until the last 3 or 4 big bites, right? Because then I want to have a real big bite of meatiness at the end, so you get that umami thing going on, that savory deliciousness as the last bite, and you get that sweetness on your lips from all the salt and all the chicken's my favorite, by the way. Shrimp, not so much. The chicken's amazing. The beef is good. Pork is good. Shrimp's not bad, but I don't know. So you get down to your last bites. You're going to take your bowl, you're going to swirl it a little bit because you want to get all the little stuff that's collected on the side. And you're going to drink that little bit of broth, that nectar of deliciousness. And then you're going to be satisfied. Now, I got to give you some, I won't call them rules, I will call them guidelines. Unless you are middle school or below, do not, at least in front of people, scoop up a big old spoonful or forkful of ramen noodles, put it in your mouth, and then bite the rest of them off back into the bowl. That's nasty. It's nasty. Stick your fork in there, spin it around, get you a mouthful of noodles. If you need to hold it way up over your head so you can let it dance in there, I'm down with that. But this whole thing, you put it in your mouth and you go and you cup it. No, don't do that. Ah, that's no good. So now you know how to make amazing ramen noodles and the best iron grilled cheese. Best. Cannot be beat. And you also learned that I've eaten a lot of ramen noodles and mac or grilled cheese sandwiches, and I've been broke most of my life. But hustle be hustling. How'd you drive? I hope you're having a great drive. I don't know what got me on food. I know Steven did the thing on Chief Talk on Thursday nights. By the way, we have Chief Talk every Thursday night at 8:15 South Carolina time. It's a live show. It's great. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. You have a great time. I'd love for you to join us. That's every Thursday night. And so Chief's doing his live show. I'm sitting here with doing color commentary. And he starts talking about his college stuff and the grill or the iron. And the way he talked about the iron, which is funny, he said he had to go to a scholarship meeting, a big scholarship meeting. And so he grabbed his iron to iron his clothes, and his roommate had made a iron grilled cheese sandwich on one iron, Ricky. And he did not clean it. And so I was talking, I said, what about grilled cheese sandwich? He goes, yeah, I used to make grilled cheese sandwiches, but I cleaned the iron between. See, I had my own dedicated clothes iron and grilled cheese iron. And he went big detail how to keep it clean and how to keep the no grease on everything. And he ironed his shirt and got grease all over it, and he had to wear a tight jacket so nobody could see the grease stains he had on his dress shirt. So, but I don't know how we got on that, but I'm glad we did. That was fun. I want to let you know that I am successful at least one thing, making grilled cheese sandwiches on an iron. Let me go to CHAVETAREPORT.com. See what's going on here. If you've never been there, you need to go check it out, subscribe, be on the mailing list, right? Or on the email list. Because Chief does this. This is Chief's thing. This is an extension of the channel, CHAVETAREPORT.com. It's an extension of the channel, and we get tons of press releases, and he puts lots of press releases up there. And also, if you want to buy our merchandise, you'll be able to purchase it from there. We got cutters, lighters, Travadors. We got some new stuff coming out real soon. We'll have Christmas ornaments and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. So on the CHAVETAREPORT.com, which Chief does all this stuff, we'll go over a couple of these interesting press releases. Foundation Cigar. Foundation Cigar Company launches nationwide Primer Fabrica 1810 event-only cigars. Now, I got handed one of those by Nick Melillo, the master blender owner of Foundation. And it was unbanded, but it was one of those event cigars, and I have not smoked it yet. I've got it sitting in my humidor. I'm debating on whether I want to just enjoy it for myself or if I want to do a review of it because it is unbanded. But now they're releasing those event-only cigars. Another one says Cohiba crosses the divide with Rubicon. I want to hear about that. Let's see what that says. The Rubicon. Cohiba announces the release of Cohiba Rubicon, a full-time addition to its portfolio and deliberate evolution of the brand's renowned blending philosophy. Read, Bob. Handcrafted at the respected Hatsa factory in Danlí, Honduras, Rubicon reflects a meticulous commitment to complexity, balance, and global sourcing. Rubicon is built from 6 distinct tobaccos sourced from 5 of the world's most respected growing regions. The blend is crowned with an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. Nice. Laid over a U.S. broadleaf binder. Good. And filled with a nuanced combination of Dominican Piloto, Honduran tobaccos from La Entrada and Jamastron, and Nicaraguan Esteli leaf. Composition results in a medium body profile marked by depth. God, thick tongue tonight. By depth, harmony, and a refined flavor progression from start to finish. And then it goes on and on and on. I'm not going to go on and on and on. We're going to stop there and we'll look at some other stuff. She's pretty excited about this. CAO, which CAO is a cigars, introduces surplus line. A new drop of blends from CAO designed. CAO's expanding its portfolio with the launch of Surplus by CAO, a trio of approachable cigars. Don't go there. Come here. Which really? Designed to deliver the brand's globally inspired craftsmanship at a competitive price point. Available in shade, Maduro, and sweet, Surplus is crafted for the curious smoker looking to explore the world of fine tobacco without breaking the bank. The band looks pretty simple. It does. Pretty straightforward. But if the blend is great, I don't smoke the band, right? Let's see what else we got. Alec Bradley launches the new Kintsugi Wabi Sabi. Just like that name, the Wabi Sabi. What's up, Wabi Sabi? Um, let's see what it says. Kintsugi was cool. Kintsugi is a Japanese thing where they take something that's broken and make it more beautiful. They take China that got busted way back in the whatever dynasty, and they would use gold to fill the cracks and make it an even more beautiful vessel. And then that is illustration of, we can be broken people, but when we put our parts back together, we can be even more better, better. So they've had the wasabi or the kintsugi, which I liked. This is a kintsugi wabi sabi. A limited edition follow up to one of the brand's most celebrated cigars, shipping August 1st. Draws inspiration from the Japanese concept of wabi sabi, the belief that there's beauty and imperfection, authenticity, in the natural passage of time. Made by AJ Fernandez in Esteli. Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Mexican binder, and Nicaraguan fillers were chosen not for uniformity, but for the richness, depth, and natural variation they bring to each draw. The result is a medium to medium plus cigar that's balanced, expressive, and quietly confident. I got to tell you. I get it. We would be classified extremely loosely, Chief and I, the Bob Cigar Guy channel, would be classified as media. All right. Advertising. And I do mean very loosely because we don't do a good job at it. And if I'm doing cigar reviews and I say, this tastes like a cigar, this is such and such a cigar, this is Camacho 2025 limited edition and it tastes like tobacco, you're really not going to get any descriptions. You're really not going to get any understanding. You're really not going to get any interest in buying it, to be honest. So understand that when I smoke this cigar, I'm going to tell you that the draw is slightly snug, which is really nice. The band is gorgeous and deeply embellished. The wrapper is smooth with very few veins, and the seams are tight and tiny. I'm going to say that mascara line is very, very small. I'm also going to tell you that it's got a smooth, dark quality to it, hints of leather, dries your mouth out like grape skins. And then I might say some story or something that will tie in that to it. Maybe the tobacco came from a special place or maybe something. And I'll get your interest. And I understand that. And the Wabi Sabi did a good job, but to give information and give a story to make you decide to buy those cigars, because let's face it, you go into a cigar store, if you took every band off of every cigar and you out of the boxes, you just put them on a shelf, it would be hard to pick and choose which cigar you want to smoke because there's no advertising drawing you in, right? They all look pretty much the same, just different shades of color, different sizes, a little bit different shape. So I get advertisers have to give descriptives and they have to give you a hook, right? You buy the first one for the band, the box, or the story. The second one, or because of a friend. The second one you buy because of flavor. I believe that. I get it. But what I don't get is when manufacturers or retail stores sell you this crazy, crazy story, giving you all these ridiculous details and that it tastes like Himalayan sea salt, but only on the shore of whatever. And it's like over aggrandizing. It's just adding so much. And Cigar reviewers. When you're trying to pull flavors that aren't there, when you're trying to say something, I think, and I don't cast shade, but I believe that there may be some cigar reviewers that have a wheel, and before they shoot the review, they pull the flavor wheel, and whatever it lands on, they say. And they come up with some of the most outlandish things. Now, I have had interesting flavors. I will admit that. And I will pick up a lot of flavors. I will. Chiefs gives me sand about that all the time. I will pick up a number of flavors usually. Very few cigars have me stumped or making me go, I'm not sure. Sometimes it happens, and then I'm transparent and I'm honest about it. But usually, most cigars in the used to be $10 range, $15 to $20 range and up, usually have, not always, but usually have more different flavors. Okay. Does that mean that a single flavor cigar tastes bad? Absolutely not. Does that mean that the more flavors you have, the better it tastes? Absolutely not. Neither one of those is for fact, because if the cigar flavors don't make sense, I don't care how many flavors you stack on it. You know, if I like sauerkraut and pork chops, shout out to my mama, and I like chocolate cake and I like chicken soup, but I'm not going to put a slice of chocolate cake and some sauerkraut and pork chops in my mama's chicken soup and think that's a good thing. Right? It has to make sense. Flavors have to be flavoring. There's also some things about flavors that either okay, I believe there's meat still in a Big Mac. Back to food. But if you take and get a hamburger from McDonald's, a Big Mac, and then you go to a high dollar steakhouse, $100 hamburger, I guess. I ain't never had a $100 hamburger. $100 hamburger, and you eat both of them, one is going to taste a lot more like meat, like what meat should taste like. If you don't know, it's the $100 hamburger. Now, sometimes flavors, I'll say I'm picking up cedars. Sometimes you get cedars like flat out. You walked into a humidor and it turned into a flavor, or you just sanded or planed down or sawed a fresh piece of cedar plank. You get that smell turned into a taste. Or sometimes you get the flavor of cedar, like the smell of a very inexpensive box of cigars that has one of them little cedar spills in it. It's just, they're both yes, but they're not the same. Ramen noodles and chicken soup, right? Mama's homemade chicken soup. It's been in the fridge for 2 days. You taste that flavor explosion compared to my best ramen noodles. It's no comparison. Just one is more intense, one is more flavorful, one is more chicken soupy, right? And so there are flavor issues. Sometimes it is hard to talk about a flavor without telling a story, at least for me. Sometimes I need to get you to understand what I'm talking about. If I say something tastes like leathers, that does not mean that I will go pick up a gun belt and chew on it, a pair of ladies' boots and chew on them, a pair of leather shoelaces and chew on them, fill in the blank, right? What I will say is that if you go into a leather store, a saddle store, and you get that smell, and that smell transitions into a flavor, leathers work that way for me. And so sometimes I will talk about that because some people will say this tastes like bootlaces. And it makes me wonder, what do they do on their other YouTube channel? Interesting. There's also people that will use the term grassy, hay, composty. I'm fine with that. We get on the verge when they say barnyard, right? Not a very good visual. And then there are some people who have flat out said the cigar tastes like it has hints of manure. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I am smoking this cigar, number one, I'll be transparent. We have reviews that we have content that is sponsored, which means they will send us product, or they will send us product and payment, or they will send us payment. And it is this episode brought to you by Camacho. Camacho sent this cigar, and they have sent some money for the year so that we can buy great technology like these microphones and other things and be able to travel and do all these other things, have lights and stuff. And so in that, we tell Camacho, we tell whatever company that we're doing reviews for that are sponsoring us, that we don't guarantee a good review. We guarantee an honest review. In other words, if your cigar stinks, I'm going to say it flat out. Flat out. Number one, I owe it to myself. That's my character. Number two, I owe it to you, because if I'm going to lie to you about something, why would you watch any of my videos? Why would you ever trust me again if I lied to you? No, I ain't doing that. My gosh. This ain't our primary income, right? We don't make hardly any money off of this at all. Money goes right back into the channel and expenses in the channel. Chief and I might have money to buy a couple Christmas presents at the end of the year and maybe take the family out for dinner in the middle of the year. I mean, it's literally, I mean, we are shoestring. So we are not going to compromise ourselves for something as silly as that. If we had to make hard decisions and this was the way we made our living and fed our family, we might have to make tough decisions, but we don't put ourselves in those positions. We've had some manufacturers that say, I want you to give me a good review and I'm willing to pay you X amount of dollars. And I said, well, I'll give you the best review I can, but I'll give you an honest review. And if your cigar stinks, it stinks. I said, well, then if you can't guarantee me a good review, a positive, this is great review, then we can't work with you. And I said, well, no, you can't, which is okay. It's funny being on the inside and being able to see when the manufacturer reaches out to us and asks us these questions. Over the next 3 weeks to a month, a whole bunch of cigar reviewers have dropped that cigar. And guess what? They all love it. People got to make their own choices. They do. It's not my business. I'm just going to make sure that I do what I do. And you know what? How much time I got? 17 minutes. So we're going way down a rabbit hole. I wish I could stop myself, but I can't because I'm already here. Cigar. Man, this is so not. Oh my God. I hope Camacho is not watching. By the way, if you smoke cigars, why not smoke a great cigar? Smoke a Camacho, a Davidoff, an Avo, a Zeno Nicaragua, or a Baccarat. Are there better cigars? Probably. Are there worse cigars? Definitely. Are the cigars that you may like better? I don't know till you try them. So get you some and try you some. Find out. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Right? Or don't. So, what's about to talk about? I was going down a rabbit hole. We were talking about. I know you're yelling at the mic at the radio, going, Bob, it's about such and such, but I don't remember. Yell louder. We don't make those financial decisions. We Some people review. Oh, I got it. And it is an important thing. I'm glad I remembered it. I'm take my glasses off so I'm not reading anymore from Shudder Report and I look like I'm 90. All right. So did I lose it again? No. Cigar reviews. So why I was hoping Camacho is not watching this. You don't need cigar reviews. You don't. Cigars are a personal expression of your palate and your preferences and your moment, the mental space you're in and where you're feeling emotionally. All those things come together. And the reason you smoke, whether you're smoking for peace, whether you're smoking for a break, whether you're smoking because it's a habit or a social or whatever you want to call it, all those factors I can't give you as a reviewer. Only you can. And your palate is different. Well, you've treated it from birth, the food that you eat, the exposure that you've given to it, your genetics. You may have more sweet and more sour. You may think leathers taste like cocoa or chocolate tastes like, I don't know, coffee. There you go. You know, those things can blend really easy. So it's up to you. So you can research all this stuff on your own, right? You don't need me for that. You can, it's so quick with your phone. You could walk into a lounge, humidor, and you could pull up your phone and you could type in the name of that cigar and it's going to come up on some reputable site or some um, retailer site, and it's going to give you the binder, the filler, the wrapper. It's going to give you a little story about it. It's going to tell you the Vitola. It's going to tell you a comparable price. It is. You don't need me for that. Flavors, well, you're going to get a little bit of that, and they might be truthful, they might not. But then again, I can be truthful, I can be not. But it doesn't matter anyway because it's just an overview because you'll taste it differently than the reviewer probably talks about. So why watch my reviews? Good question. Thanks for asking. I like to say it's because it completes me and it makes my life perfect and I make millions of dollars off of it. None of that is true. I'd like to say that it boosts my social credit score, which I don't have one. So that's not true. I hope it's edutainment. I hope if this is your lifestyle, your hobby, whatever you want to call it, that you want to dive deeper into stuff. And maybe I tell you something that I've heard from somebody else, a master in their industry, and I can pass that information on to you. Hopefully you'll laugh. Hopefully you feel encouraged. Hopefully you'll get a break from the world. Hopefully it's just something that you want to hang out and do. As far as the review goes, you find somebody that reviews cigars. Let's say this Camacho, right? Which I have reviewed. Um, you buy one, you smoke it, you watch the video, and you're like, you know what? I'm tasting what he's tasting. That means our palates are aligned. And so the next time I do a video, and I say this is XYZ cigar, the Zeno Nicaragua, and I say it tastes like this, 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 and this, and you're like, well, I like those flavors. He was right last time with what my palate was like. Well, let me give it another shot. And so that kind of weeds out some of the things that you may end up spending money on that you don't like because it just kind of it's kind of a consumer reports kind of thing where you can kind of figure out where the ballpark is. That's the same way with um, end of year lists. I fought for years on not doing an end of year list, but it's so popular and so many people have asked us to do it, Chief and myself, that we put out lists every year. But our lists, my list is the quads, smoke, draw, burn, and flavor. That's how I base my reviews of the cigars I smoked that year and turn them into my top 25 list, top 20 list, top 10 list, whatever I got. Smoke. You can quantify that. How much smoke comes out? Is it chewy? Is it full? Is it voluminous? Can you feel it leave your mouth? Is it wispy or is it minimal? draw. When you puff on the cigar, you've cut it correctly and you've lit it correctly. Do you have to fight it like a strawberry milkshake from McDonald's and the straw collapses to make your cheeks hurt? Or is it so loose? It's like just breathing through a paper towel roll. Burn. How does it burn? Have to touch it up a bunch? Is it a wonky burn? Is it a laser burn? Which people are so big on laser burns, but laser burns aren't that big of a deal. It just needs to burn decently. Mascara line needs to be tight and tiny. Does the ash drop off a lot? Which is evidence of construction, good quality construction based upon the ash. Some. It's one of the signs, one of the markers. So smoke, draw, burn. I can quantify all three of those. I can. I never put on my post, or I never put on my end of year list a cigar that I've only smoked once, because I might have got the best cigar or I might have got the worst cigar. So I try to smoke 2 or 3 of them if I can. Good excuse to smoke more cigars. But then there's a fourth quad, the unquantifiable flavor. Now, I can tell you the flavors are crisp. I can tell you the flavors are clear and they are substantial. Or I can say they're just kind of a hint. They're kind of muted. They're kind of muddy. I use muddy a lot. I can tell you what I taste: black pepper, spicy, creamy, toasty, barrel char, barnyard, no, hay, grassy, all these other things. But that is my opinion as to whether I like it or not. That's my choice. Because if I don't like, I'll tell you right now, I don't like heavy black pepper in my cigar. I like a little pepper in my cigar. I like a little broadleaf. I like a little Mexican San Andreas, but I don't want it to be out of balance. I want it to be in balance. I don't want it to be a spice bomb where my tongue feels like I licked asphalt by the time I'm over and done with it. Because I smoke a lot of cigars and that'll wreck my palate. I just don't like it. But if you love black pepper, then if you go off my list as the best list in the whole wide world, then the thing that you're going to love more than anything else won't be on there. It's not your list. Lists are interesting. Lists are fun. They're edutainment. It's our goal to be edutaining. We hopefully will make you laugh and make you learn. Hopefully we do at least one of the two. Not sure if it happens all the time, to be honest. But we can't promise to be honest. We can promise to try. I don't know of any cigar reviewers that grind as much as we do. We put out hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of reviews every year, and videos and content. We grind. And that's because a couple of reasons. Number one, I love smoking cigars. I have cigars to smoke. I'm going to smoke cigars. Number two, I hope you will find something, and you trust me, that may make your life better. And you will find something that's enjoyable. But most importantly, and the most important, is to tell you that you are valuable, to give you a feeling of your worth and that you're worth it, and that you have everything you need to be who you are. And who you are is amazing. Everybody else is taken up. Be yourself. That if you're going through hard times, people care. That if, when you get off of work, life starts on the other side of that door. Go in the house with the family that loves you and the family you love. Right? I don't know your world. I don't know your life, but I do know that you are worth loving and you have love to give. I want you to know that. I want you to be at a place where if your kids pick up the phone or they come in the room while you're watching the video, you don't have to hide it because I'm going to cuss. I'm going to tell dirty jokes, or some girl's going to be scantily clad. No, I don't ever want you to have to think that. A lot of people do. Well, some people do. It's just not our lane. They do what they do. We do what we do. We want to make sure that we do our best to give you a place to take a break, to take a pause, to maybe, if you go to Chevetter or if you go to Chief Talk on Thursday nights at 8:15, you can have a community, because there's a flat out community on Chief Talk. 30 some odd people about every week hanging out for a couple hours and just kicking back. If you've got a sweetie and they don't smoke cigars, second Saturday, the First Lady, she doesn't smoke cigars, but she loves the cigar lifestyle. And she comes alongside you, and she comes alongside me, and kind of gives them insight as to it's not just about setting leaves on fire. It's about that community. And then we've got the Saka Sundays, where it's not really cigar reviews. It's just encouraging information, funny information, my stories, my cautionary tales of life. Then we have Drew's Day Review. We have Camacho on Friday. We have other manufacturers that we do reviews for regularly, maybe a monthly videos. Then we have manufacturers send us cigars, and we do cigar reviews from them. That they just send us cigars to review. We get a lot of those. So we grind because we can, because we don't have to. It's because we want to. We dedicate a lot of time here in the hopes that one of those moments will make a difference in your life. Whether it's a big deal or it's not a real big deal at all. It's just a momentary pause. Maybe we're that second green light. I like that. You're driving down the road and you're down one of the main roads and you've got, 50 green lights within 3 miles, and you're going and you have to stop at that red light and the light turns green, and you drive just the right speed so the next light turns green, and you're like, oh, that was nice. I didn't have to stop again. Maybe we're just a second green light for you. Hopefully we're never a red stop sign. We're very transparent. We're very honest, and we care. If there's something that frustrates you about what we do and you think there could be a way that we could be better, my gosh, please, please, please reach out to me through comments on this video or any other video and tell me. I'd love to know. Help me be better. If you say, I like this cigar, I had this cigar, will you review the cigar? I'd love to. But I don't have all the cigars in the world. We are a very tight budgeted business, barely business. Taxes are business. And so we don't go out and buy a bunch of cigars. And so if we have the cigars, then we would review the cigars. This is not in any way, shape, or form. You see the wall of cigars behind me. For me to say, oh, please send me your cigar and I'll review your cigar because I need cigars. I don't do that. Enjoy your cigars. And hopefully I'll come across one and I'll be able to review it sooner than later. That's my hope. So I didn't know if this was going to fall off the rails because I didn't know if I had enough content to stretch. And I think that's why we went off on some weird tangents. But I want to make sure that we got that hour in because I'm being honest to you. I want to give you an hour every single week. This is the first time that I have done, I think, this many weekly videos without a missing break. Whenever we do contracts with companies, if they do a year, we don't say we're going to give you 52. We say we're going to give you 40 because of Christmas, because of travel, because of sickness, because of something else we have to do, holidays. But this one, I want to make sure that just for myself, that I would do 52 in a row. Camacho came alongside at the 6-month mark. So they did a year contract. So we're going to do 52 plus, what was that, 26? Was that 60, 78? So hopefully we'll do 78 straight. And then hopefully Camacho will like it and y'all will like it and y'all will watch and y'all will share and y'all will like and y'all will subscribe. So the analytics come up so more people can see it. And they will say, this is valuable and we can keep doing it because I enjoy this time. I'm not going to say it's cathartic But it is nice to sit here. I wish we were sitting together, but it is nice to sit here and think that maybe somebody hears something that's beneficial to them. So, and I know it's beneficial to you right now. You're probably home. You're probably in the driveway. You're probably ready to get out of the car and get in there and get with that family. And it's time. If you're still driving, don't get out of the car while it's driving. Don't do that. You're too valuable. You're too precious. You are a national treasure, at least to me. And I bet others. So in closing, I'm going to say, thanks, Camacho. Give a Davidoff, Avo, Zeno Nicaragua, Baccarat, or Camacho a try. You might like it. If you do, leave me a comment. Let me know. Give me that like, would you? Give me that share. Give me that comment. Give me that subscribe. I'd love it. You might like it. Or don't. It's up to you. I'll see you later. Later, Tater.